as you know.
Let's be clear. Bitcoin should not be a dominant portion of any investor's portfolio, okay?
I guess can I just rewind for a second?
How many Bitcoins does it take to get some damn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, I know this boring sideways price action is really getting under everybody's skin, but you know what? There may actually be a very good reason as for why we're seeing this type of price action right now. Make sure you stick around to the end because we are going to discuss that. But having just a look at the fact that these Bollinger Bands are the tightest that they have ever physically been on the weekly chart, we know that we're looking for a big move, and there are a lot of people that are scared right now because, you know, the S&P looks like it is starting to break down back into this channel. Could just be a healthy correction. But there is that fear that if we have stocks breaking down massively, then we may also see Bitcoin breaking down as well. And also the fact that Michael Burry, you might be familiar with him from The Big Short, officially just shorted the market with $1.6 billion. Now, they were claiming that this is 93% of his entire portfolio. Should we be worried? Well, I'm going to discuss in a little bit why this could be somewhat misleading, but we do have finally some good news. A spot Bitcoin ETF has been approved in Europe, not in the USA, but congratulations, Europe. Now, speaking about what's happening in the USA right now, we could be getting some really big news today, potentially. It might even be out by the time I make this video. I hope I don't miss it, or Friday. So I'll let you know what it is that we're looking for specifically. And of course, you know, just talking about what is going on with this boring price action again, well, we are going to go into probably most likely why this is happening. And I want to show you an insane scenario that happened for Bitcoin basically all throughout 2015. And it looks like we are following in the exact same footsteps. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If that sounds good, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it. And before I do hop into the charts, let's start off with this Michael Burry thing. Let's just figure out what this is all about. Well, basically, in a nutshell, guys, you can see that the $1.6 billion of puts actually represents how much it would cost to exercise those puts. In other words, without going into too much detail, if any of you have traded using any type of leverage of any sort, you know, you can have $1 million trade and you don't need to use $1 million, right? So it's the same exact concept. It got a little bit blown out of proportion, but just to also let everybody know, he only is going short on a few tech stocks. He's actually very, very long on a lot of other things as well. Oil, gas, prisons, banks, media companies, etc. So it's not like he's shorting the entire market. Just wanted to clarify that. I was seeing a lot of FUD yesterday over on X Twitter. Now, having a look right here, you can see that we are still, in fact, maintaining this trend. Now, is there a possibility that we could have a lower dip without falling all the way down to 25.3? The only thing that I can really come up with right now is if we take it and, you know, we take it out of log, you put it into just the short trend, then yeah, okay, you might be able to maybe come down a little bit lower to about 28.3, okay, and still be supported on that upwards trend. Again, if we do lose that area, though, I've consistently said that this area is my next target. But again, I'm not looking for a massive, crazy, you know, insane dump. I'm really just looking, if anything, if we get a pullback to around 25,003. And again, that's just a big if, you know, because Bitcoin not really doing anything. The S&P has been falling basically nonstop for, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basically for like 11 days, the S&P has been falling down. And, you know, Bitcoin, I mean, you could say the same thing, kind of been falling down a little bit, but, you know, really just kind of doing the same thing, going sideways. We are still holding above this area. We are in what I still believe to be a very large bull flag. And, you know, bull flags, you basically take the length of the pole, right here, and you put that to the, I'm gonna go to the lower end, not the higher end, just to, you know, whatever. Don't want to be too moon boyish, but you know, that still puts us up at around 37,000. And don't forget, we have a CME futures gap up here at around $35,200. But if you guys are interested in learning how to trade it's boring right now. There's not much going on, but it's a good time to educate yourself. There's lots of bonuses if you want to check out those links below, also popping up above. But I wanted to show you a crazy, crazy similarity of what was happening in 2015 versus what is happening now. Now, this is the Wave Edge indicator. This is not a free indicator. I do have a link below. You actually purchase this one through, I believe it's Telegram. Totally up to you guys. You know, I like to look at this in confluence with these other ones to see where they're lining up. But one thing that's just jumping out to me right now is how unbelievably similar what we're seeing, or what we did see back here in 2015, is kind of what we're doing right now. And let me get out of the way so you guys can see a little bit better. If you really look at this, this is insane, right? So we have the green dot, which arguably marks the bottom respectively, right? We got the same thing right here. We also had the green X, right? Now look at this, guys. So we come up like this, we come back down. We have the bottom of the wave edge moving over, right? We have this pump to the top, and then we have the sell-off, a little bit of a sell-off, and then we move back up again. And it's at that point that we get that crossover that the market just went on an absolute run. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's probably a little bit small on the screen to look at right now. But what did I just do? Okay, I think I don't know what I just did. But anyway, right here, you guys can see we're doing the exact same thing. And if we were to look at basically where we are right now on the charts, like where we are right here, that is the equivalent of basically right around roughly, because we're having the wave cross up right around here. So this right here, where we are, is basically the equivalent of back here. Now, let's go back here and kind of see what happened around that area as we were beginning to cross up. Now, did we have pullbacks at that point? Yes, we did. Right here, 472. And, you know, Bitcoin fell about 30%. About 30% in this move. And imagine how people were thinking. And yet, what did it still do? It continued, you know, massively up around almost 7,000%. So obviously markets aren't going to just go up in a straight line, but we are seeing these signals again. So not too much TA today to talk about. We're still just waiting for that move. So we do have London-based Jacoby Asset Manager successfully launching the Wildshare Bitcoin ETF, which has the symbol Bcoin, and this is over in Europe. So they say it represents a remarkable achievement for Europe's financial landscape as it demonstrates the continent's determination to embrace innovation in the form of investment opportunities in the crypto sector. So congratulations, Europe, you got your spot Bitcoin ETF. Not so great over here in the US, right? Now, let's talk about this though, because just to give you guys a little bit of a history of what's happening, you know that Grayscale, their CEO, Michael Sonshine, right? They filed a legal complaint against the SEC in June last year because they wanted to convert their GBTC into a full-scale Bitcoin spot ETF. Now, listen, this does play out to what could potentially happen this week. So back then, they were saying that the regulatory agency was acting arbitrary and capricious since they had allowed several ETFs to launch futures while rejecting a spot. So they're basically saying that they were discriminating against these companies. Now, this was the news. So Eric Bolchunas said, very good possibility we learn Grayscale SEC outcome tomorrow at around 11 a.m. So if you're watching this video, that may have already happened. Maybe head on over to Twitter, follow me on Twitter. You know, maybe we'll give you the update over there. Only a small fraction of cases have taken longer. So he says, be on the lookout for a potential decision. This should hopefully give crypto even more momentum, even though arbitrary and capricious is a high and difficult standard to meet. I've always maintained that the SEC will lose if someone fought back regarding a spot Bitcoin ETF. And that was before the SEC approved the 2x leveraged ETF. So the surprise will be if the SEC does not lose. Now, in the same breath, you have Binance accusing the SEC of abusing the discovery provisions, asserting that the SEC discovery requests overstepped their boundaries that were set in court in June. So they say the SEC has declined BAM's proposals or to meaningfully limit its requests. The SEC's position is unreasonable and part of a broader pattern of the SEC abusing the discovery provision of the consent order. The consent order authorized limited expedited discovery on a narrow set of topics, namely the custody, security, and ability of BAM customer assets. So what does this all mean? Well, if you really have a look at what's going on right now, we were discussing the fact that there's definitely some corruptness going on, obviously. I mean, there's a video floating around right now. It's literally 5 straight minutes. It's I have the video. I could probably post it on my Twitter. It's 5 straight minutes of literally just people like in a just like, you know, Senate hearings, just asking Gary like, "Hey, what's going on? Can we have some clarity here?" Well, like John Eaton points out, Deaton, sorry. Gary Gensler is a lifelong Democrat and chair of the SEC. Under Obama, he was, with both parties agreeing that he did an extremely lousy job. They say just think MF Global. Of course, he served as Hillary Clinton's CFO for her 2016 presidential campaign. Gensler literally signed and or approved the check for the Steele dossier. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Anyway, no one can credibly claim that Gensler's tenure at the SEC is not 100% politically driven. Let's not forget, he had 2 personal meetings with SBF. I'm sure SBF's, or SB fraud, he calls them, political contributions played no roles in obtaining access. So again, Coinbase been trying to reach out to this guy for 2 straight years. They got the approval, right? They got listed. No answer from Gary. Gary just conveniently happens to be busy all these times. But yet Gary had plenty of time to meet with Sam Bankman-Fried. So there's clearly some politics driving this. But again, as I said, this was actually almost like uncomfortable, a little cringe, like uncomfortable, secondhand embarrassment when they were talking on Squawk Box, and you have the former SEC chair Jay Clayton discussing with these guys whether or not you should do, you know, traditional bonds or, you know, switch to Bitcoin. Wow.
You know, from such a different generation. Should she be, she's got plenty of time, she's young. Should she be thinking about buying 4% bonds, or would you recommend she buy some Bitcoin, Jay? I mean, what would you tell Kelly Evans to do at this point?
What would I tell Kelly Evans? Diversify. That's what I would say. Diversify.
I'm kidding when I say don't buy a 2-year note, buy Bitcoin. Sort of kidding. I'm sort of kidding. But as you know.
Let's be clear. Bitcoin should not be a dominant portion of any investor's portfolio, okay?
I guess can I just rewind for a second? So I like what you said, how Bitcoin is a technology, right? And there are
Awkward much? Wow, that's crazy. That is just, you could just sense in the room, everyone like, right? You can sense that the tides are changing. So I just wanted to discuss again and end on this. Why is this price action potentially so freaking boring? Well, I mean, kind of like Satoshi Flipper really hit it on the head. Bitcoin has only one objective with this cancer price action: convince you to pack up and exit the market because nothing is happening and waiting is not worth it. And we know that markets tend to surprise a lot of people, especially when you least expect it. That's kind of what they're designed to do. But again, going back to the similarities of what we had seen in 2015, same concept that trader Tardigrade is pointing. We're using different metrics here, but he's seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. And you could see that we are on this level of attempting to break this first area right here. Once that area is taken out, you can really see what happens. He says he's saying that we broke the resistance. Did we actually break? Or he's just talking about, he's talking about the first one. So we're at the second one right here. So yeah, I mean, the next levels according to him would then be 47K, and then obviously the top at 68K. So I do think that it could take off a lot faster than most people would expect. So I wouldn't really want to be on the sidelines, but hey, to each his own, right? If you guys want to get a, obviously a hardware wallet, I do recommend you guys check out Engrave. And don't forget, guys, they do have still the $8 million prize pool, Rolexes, Lamborghinis, all that fun stuff. Bybit. If you're interested, you use the link below. You do get an extra bonus. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. Honestly, can't believe, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's been sticking it out. I know that it's boring times. I know that it's not the most exciting. People just love that, make money, everything's pumping. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. It's just, you got to deal with the cycles, right? So that's it for me. Again, let me know what you guys think about Michael Burry's short and what you guys think about the markets. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? What are you doing? You sitting in cash? You long? You short? Just totally out of crypto altogether. What do you guys, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I will be doing a little bit of traveling, but I think I'll still be able to get some videos out for you guys. Shouldn't be an issue. So that's it for me. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And of course, if you do want to learn how to trade successfully, profitably, I recommend you check these out, popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.